identified one out of what, 100 something? And I'm
Right.
like, yes,
Right.
that's exactly right, honey.
Exactly. And by the way, some of these
So,
things were really, really close. So, you tell me.
wow, that's
So,
crazy.
yeah.
Oh, when are we going to see that 50-foot away pick?
Oh man, that's not up to me, but yeah, there's a couple
Yeah,
there that'll rattle you pretty good.
yeah.
There's one I'm not won't go into detail, but the video is about 23 minutes long. It's man,
23 minutes.
yeah, it's pretty good, man.
Popcorn, got to get that.
It's yeah, popcorn and some 3D glasses and maybe some Coca-Cola or something.
Coca-Cola and a diaper.
Yeah, yeah, perhaps.
Would you get one of these things and fly it around town if you could?
Nope.
No?
I'll let someone braver than me do it.
Yeah,
No,
like
what?
Favor.
No.
He wants to, yeah.
Yeah.
One interesting event that occurred. It's pretty incredible. You have I'm not going to go into too much detail. I want people to know who it is. The person is kind of very cagey about this, but you have a helicopter going out of a Caribbean island on a regular basis because the Navy likes to test fire some of its cruise missile technology and whatnot. And what will happen is that after the cruise missile runs out of fuel, it kind of splashes into the ocean. It will sink, and then at a certain time, it kind of rises up, and we go and fetch it, and we analyze it for telemetry and things like that. Long story short, helicopter crew goes out to recover one of these things. As they are recovering it the first time, the missile, they're pulling up and something what was described round and circular about the size of a small island, uh, black, dark color, starts rising to the surface. It doesn't break the water, but it starts rising to the surface. They thought, wow, that's really, really peculiar. Well, the next month goes around and they go out to retrieve this another missile that was test fired, and this time we got a frogman hanging down from the rope about to latch on to the missile, and this thing starts coming out of the water again. And if you know about the Puerto Rican trench out there, you're talking about water that's 22,000 feet deep.
Yeah.
It's the second deepest part of the ocean. The thing starts rising up, and as the thing is starting to come to the surface, the frogman is literally trying to climb the rope. They're doing an emergency ascent. Everybody is absolutely panic at the disco, freaking out. What the hell is that? What's going on? And as they start to pull up, it sucks the missile underwater and then disappears, never to be seen again. I mean, there's incidents like that just kind of make the hair stand up on the back of your neck and go, what?
There's a follow-up question for Blake and Brent Cousins of Third Phase of the Moon, the world's largest UFO YouTube channel. How far advanced do you think private corporations have in technology? Do you think Lockheed Martin may have developed a Tic Tac? Has Lou asked Lockheed what assets they have in their possession?
Wow. That's a really good question. Let me answer this way. Have we asked? Yes. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is because part of that answer requires approval from certain organizations and military contractors, and I'm not at liberty to answer on their behalf. I made it very clear what I said, and I went right up to that line by saying, when I was asked, do I think that the U.S. government is in possession of this exotic material? And I said yes. And I stand by that. But at this point, I really can't elaborate much more beyond that, only because this is still unfolding. And what we don't want to do is, I mean, the truth be told, the last thing we want to do is to scare the gopher to go back into its hole. It's just now poking its head out of the hole. And we're trying to coax it, saying it's okay to come out. It's okay to have this conversation. So, what I don't want to do is preemptively say something that all of a sudden forces the gopher to go back underground for the next 70 years.
I got the final question from Third Phase of Moon. How far advanced do you think the U.S. government or private corporation are in advanced tech that the public is not aware of? The B-1 bomber was classified for 40 years until the public was aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of advanced tech. I'm not going to go into it right now. That's certainly not my place to do that. But the U.S. government and other countries are always trying to maintain a competitive advantage over their adversaries, and we should. I think that's money well spent. We have a tremendous amount of advanced technology in this country. Now, if you're asking the question of if that was a derivative of some sort of UAP, the answer to that would be, unfortunately, that type of vehicle would be very, very advanced, and it should be no surprise that if let me give you an example. It's a bit like imagine an aircraft, a 747 that crashes in the Amazon, and everybody escapes. They jump out of the plane with parachutes, and everybody's fine. But the plane crashes, and a indigenous group of people from the Amazon who've never seen human beings outside of their own little, if you will, village, come across bits and pieces of this aircraft. And they find glass from the cockpit, and they pick it up, and they realize that glass can be used to skin the meat from their kill much easier, right? So they reverse engineer the glass, and they're using it now as a tool to cut skin away from the meat, right? That's not the intended purpose of the glass, right? And there's no way they're going to recognize that, how to rebuild a 747 in the middle of the Amazon. But it doesn't mean that there isn't bits and pieces that can be picked up and certain things gleaned from that. I'm not saying that's necessarily the case. I'm not going to speak on behalf of our government what it has or has not done. But that's probably a better analogy when answering that question. Do we have the skill sets needed to even study and investigate something like that? Well, we're now beginning to realize that the physics probably lies within the realm of quantum physics. Mm-hmm. We still don't understand it very well. So there's probably a lot more we need to learn before we could figure out how to reverse engineer something like that.
The example you said with Amazon, I'm going to steal the example that Bob Lazar said. Take this iPhone, drop it in the wagon trail days. They can have an unlimited budget. They wouldn't come close to even figuring out what it is, let alone powering it up.
Right.
Impossible. Now,
well, you need an entire infrastructure, right? You need an ability to charge the phone, right? You need an ability to do a lot of things with that phone. You need cellular service for the phone to work, and you need GPS if you want to use a GPS. And there's these multi-billion-dollar industries set up for every single one of the capabilities on your smartphone. And unless you have all of those in place, chances are you're not really going to be able to utilize it very well.
Now, what are you currently doing? Because you no longer work with TTSA, right?
I am no longer affiliated with To the Stars Academy. That is correct.
So can you talk about what you're doing with your colleagues to further the truth to get to where we want to get to, which is seeing the facts?
Yeah, well, I think that will probably come apparent here at some point in the future, but we are working very hard, very diligently behind the scenes. We are engaging our friends and colleagues, both in the legislative side and the executive side of our government. We're also engaging the media and foreign countries to stimulate the conversation and facilitate that conversation between our country and theirs. We're doing a lot of things to help us pursue this initiative. There's 5 pillars of emphasis. I'll restate them again of what
the 5 variables,
doing.
Right?
No, not observables. No.
Okay.
There's also happens to be 5 areas of think of this as a military or an intelligence campaign. What we are doing is very deliberate. It's very, very methodical, and has to be synchronized. And very well coordinated. So in essence, the first pillar of emphasis is legislative engagement, which is where Chris Mellon comes into play, making sure that our elected officials know this is a good conversation and it's okay to have this conversation. And then the second pillar of emphasis is executive level engagement in our executive branch. So department heads and secretary level, letting them know that this is a national security issue and they should pay attention to it. Right. And to hell with stigma and taboo, because this topic isn't going away. The third area of emphasis is is foreign government engagement. Engaging our friends and allies, putting them in contact with the right people here in Washington, D.C. for them to get more information and perhaps start sharing information that they may have on this topic with us and vice versa. The fourth area of engagement is media engagement, and that is engaging mainstream media so they know it's okay to have the conversation as well. 3 years ago, nobody in their right mind would have touched this conversation.